"What are you doing, Jason? No, don't kill it. Don't. No," I screamed as 7-year-old Jason lifted a rock and brought it down on my pet cat, Billy, killing him. That wasn't the first time Jason had done something like this. Every time our father got me a new pet, Jason would kill it within a few days. Father didn't get me any new pets after Jason had killed my puppy, Murphy, and my pet bird, Polly. He only killed the animals he found me playing with. Father, obviously, wasn't happy about this. He knew that since the 1970s, research had consistently reported that childhood cruelty toward animals was the first warning sign of later delinquency, violence, and criminal behavior. Jason was, thus, sent to therapy many times. Father also had a reputation to maintain, and after Polly died, he didn't get us any more pets. Somehow, that seemed to have solved the problem. Years passed, and those childhood stories were swept under the rug, but not erased. I didn't know what to do, man. I was so angry. Jason said, clenching his teeth. Jason was my elder brother, and his wife had cheated on him. He had walked in on her while she was in their bed with her yoga instructor. I already knew all of this because he had called me and told me everything the day it happened. It was winter when all of this came crashing down. A month after this tragic incident, his wife mysteriously went missing. She didn't pack her things. She didn't leave a note. She simply disappeared during the coldest time of the year. Every finger pointed toward Jason. People knew what his wife had done. The police knew the whole story. Everyone believed Jason was the obvious one responsible for killing his disloyal lover. Moreover, no one could locate her anywhere. It was as if she had fallen off the face of the earth. "What did you do, Jason? Where is she now?" I asked as my brother stood in front of me, tears running down his face. "I took my gun out of the dresser and pointed it at them," he said. "Did you shoot her?" I asked. He was silent for a while. I loved Jason dearly. He was the best elder brother I could have asked for. I don't know what I would have done if I had been cheated on. I wasn't Jason. "Jason, did you kill her?" "Of course not. But I wanted to. How could she do this to me? I loved her so much." "Calm down. Have this," I said, pouring him a glass of scotch. He swallowed it in one gulp and looked at me with sad, empty eyes. "I couldn't kill her. I should have killed her, but I couldn't. Now that she's disappeared, the whole world thinks I did." "What kind of life is this?" he said, crying. I sat there with him on that cold winter night, trying to console him. The house was silent except for the wind outside. That night, Jason asked me whether I had anything to do with her disappearance. "Have you gone crazy?" I asked. Copious amounts of alcohol and grief do that to a man. "Just swear on me and tell me you didn't," Jason said. "I swear. There is no consequence for breaking someone's heart in this cruel world. There is no judgment and no punishment. The world only expects you to move on, no matter how traumatic it is." I knew how much Jason loved his wife. If he had killed her, I would have understood. But he kept telling everyone that he didn't. I'm not Jason, and I honestly don't know how I would have handled his situation. I didn't have anything to do with it. He told the police on the first day they knocked on his door. Jason's answer never changed. Even after they searched his home from top to bottom, they found nothing. "I have no idea where she is. I honestly don't care," he said to anyone who asked. After a few months, the police had to let it go due to lack of evidence. Jason eventually recovered from the heartbreak. It took him 4 years, but he finally moved on. I know this because I've just received an invitation to his wedding. He's getting married for the second time tomorrow. Things turned out all right for him, I guess. People still believe he had something to do with his wife's disappearance. But once people believe something, nothing can change their minds. Jason has always maintained his innocence, and unlike everyone else, I believe him. I believe him because I know he didn't kill his wife. But if he had the chance to do it now, given the condition she's in, I know he would. I can't let that happen. She cheated on my brother. She broke my brother's heart, and I made sure she doesn't get to break anyone's heart ever again. Jason is too weak. He would kill her now and put her out of her misery. But I'm not Jason. I didn't kill her. I take my hammer and walk into the basement, carrying the good news of Jason's wedding. The air is cold down there. I can hear her crying. That's all she does these days. She begged me to release her in the beginning. Over the years, she realized I wouldn't. Now, whenever she sees me, she doesn't ask for freedom. She begs me for just one thing. She begs me to do to her what Jason couldn't. But I'm not Jason. What the hell? Give it to me, 9-year-old Jason said as he took Polly, my pet bird, out of my hands. Her wing was ripped off. Her beak was hammered in. She was bleeding, but somehow still alive. I'll just put it out of its misery. Why do you keep doing this? Jason asked. Are you going to tell Father? No, but you have to promise me that you won't repeat this. Why do you torture these innocent creatures anyway? I didn't know the answer to his question then. I'm taking the blame on me for the last time. Swear on me and say that you won't repeat this. I swear. Snow piled up around his shoes. Surprisingly well-dressed. Black suit, slicked back hair untouched by the wind. Narrow briefcase held tight at his side. Now, I know I shouldn't pick up hitchhikers, but I'm 6 feet 4 inches, 230 pounds, with all kinds of hunting equipment in the back of my truck. It's not like this prissy-ass businessman is going to beat me to death and leave me frozen on the side of the road. Besides, I need gas money. Hey man, I said, pulling over to the shoulder, tires crunching against ice and slush. I'll give you a lift if you pay me for gas. Of course, he said in a polite, almost British accent. He reached into his coat, pulled out his wallet, and produced 3 crisp $20 bills. This enough? I grinned. That's way more than enough. I greedily snatched the money from him and clicked the locks. Get in, bud. He climbed in, brushing snow off his coat. His blue eyes shifted from the crumpled Wendy's wrapper on the dashboard to the mysterious, sticky goo on the middle console. Sorry, the car's not clean. I'm going hunting, I said, turning back onto the highway as snowflakes streaked past the windshield. Hunting? Interesting, he said, in a strangely enthusiastic tone. Have you always liked to hunt? No, it's the funniest thing. Never thought I'd ever hunt. Love animals. Got 3 dogs at home. But there are so many deer around these parts when winter comes. I nodded toward the snow-covered trees. A lot of them starved to death, not to mention all the car accidents they cause. I trailed off, and we fell into uncomfortable silence. Just hunting for the day then? No, my buddy Matt and I'll be out there the whole weekend. He let out a laugh. The whole weekend? Your wife's a saint for letting you go out in this weather. My wife. How did he? Then my eyes fell on the steering wheel and the silver ring on my finger. Yeah, Mary's a doll. She's actually pregnant, 5 months with a little girl. He gave me a crooked smile. A girl, huh? Yeah. I could feel him staring at me long after we'd fallen into silence. It made my skin crawl. I clicked on the radio, but all it did was hiss with static beneath the hum of the heater. How did you meet Matt? He asked, fiddling with the dial. That's a weird question, I thought. He and Mary were close friends. So when we got married, I got to know him well. The man said. He stroked his chin thoughtfully, and I was suddenly reminded of a psychiatrist. Are you a psychiatrist? I blurted out. He laughed. Definitely not. I work in finance. What type of finance? Futures, he replied, non-committally. I glanced over at him. There was a slight smile on her lips, and I noticed her fingers sliding towards the bag on her lap. My heart began to pound. Click, click. He undid the clasps. The case creaked open. What's in your briefcase? I asked. Work. What kind of? His long fingers disappeared into the darkness of the case. He was pulling something out. My body locked up. I have a lot of hunting equipment back there, I said, my voice tight. So you better not be... I stopped. He was only pulling out a sheet of paper. For several minutes, he didn't speak. He read the paper intently, silently, as if his life depended on it. Scritch, scritch. His fingers slid over it as they traced the text. Then he folded it neatly, slipped it back into the briefcase, and snapped it shut. What was he reading? Before I could ask, he turned toward me. Then he broke the silence. Don't go hunting, he said, his ice blue eyes fixed on me. What? Turn the car around. Go home to Mary. What? She needs you. He paused. Madeline needs you. I felt the blood drain from my face. I never told him we were going to name our baby Madeline. How did you? He's going to make it look like an accident, he said, his voice gravelly and strained. Just a simple hunting accident. The most punishment he'll endure is 35 minutes in the police station, writing out his statement. But let me off at that diner up ahead. I like their Cobb salad very much. Matt's going to kill me? What are you talking about? He turned to me, eyes wide. What are you talking about? About what you just said. All I said is I'd like you to let me off at the diner, please. He pointed toward the snow-lined exit ramp. You're going to miss it if you don't slow down. With a shaking hand, I clicked on my blinker and pulled off the highway. The tires slid slightly before gripping the icy pavement. The engine ticked as it cooled in the frozen air. Thank you for the ride, he said, stepping out and retrieving his briefcase. Have a good drive, will you? I couldn't force out a reply before the door shut. I didn't believe him, but my nerves were too shot to continue the trip. I texted Matt that I was sick, turned around, and went home to Mary. She was thrilled. Matt was disappointed. A little too disappointed, if you ask me. A month later, after ignoring most of Matt's calls and texts, which had grown increasingly frequent and desperate, I heard a faint thumping at the door one snowy evening. When I flicked on the porch light, there was Matt, hunched over our doorknob, holding a lockpick. We called the police. Since then, life has been great. A few months later, our wonderful little Madeline was born. And when we returned home from the hospital, sitting on our snow-dusted doorstep was a small teddy bear, a pink bow sewn onto its head. There was no return address, no card, but I think I know who it was from.